Be in this position at the 4 Premier Leagues in 5 years. You cannot be. We struggle. No, we struggle. We handle in our mindset for everyone that the people believe in November we have already champion, and this is impossible.
You can see here Pep Guardiola. He has for a while now in the build-up to what is the most significant period of the season for Man City, feeling that pressure, explaining that his players are under immense pressure for the three-peat after already winning so much. And you can see in the performances this season that City are gettable. You can see that they're not at their absolute best. And of course, we're here to preview Manchester United versus Man City this weekend. Let's take a look at more what Pep's got to say.
Arsenal, United, right now, the other teams, they don't have this pressure.
Man United and Arsenal do not have this pressure. We don't have pressure. There is no pressure on us going into this game. Arsenal have got no pressure in the title race. The question is, do you believe that from Pep Guardiola?
You know, because, okay, City is going to win. In September, have to win the Premier League. After 4 Premier Leagues in 5 years, it's not easy to push them again, and the players do there. And
he's right about that. It isn't easy. That's why the three-peat from Man United and the 13 Premier Leagues that were won by Sir Alex Ferguson make him the greatest manager in English football history without a doubt, because keeping the team motivated for that period of time is very, very difficult indeed. And that's the key point here. This isn't about pressure versus no pressure. That is a mind game from Pep Guardiola because he's scared. 110% Pep Guardiola is rattled by Arsenal. And secondly, he can see Man United in that rearview mirror. 110% he can see Man United coming up from behind and breathing on his shoulder. But instead of admitting the reality that it is very hard to motivate a group of players to win 3 on the bounce, he's finding it difficult to keep his team working at the same rate, keep his team pressing at the same rate, keep his team fighting tooth and nail to make the Pep Guardiola system come alive. Instead of admitting that, he's essentially saying that we are crumbling because other teams don't have pressure upon them. But I can assure you, as the season kicks on, the size of the Arsenal fan base, there is going to be pressure. On Man United specifically, I'm talking about them because it's a title race. Man United specifically, there is more pressure on Man United every single week than there has ever been on Man City. There is very little media pressure. There is very little scrutiny when things go wrong. And everybody wants Man City to win. We've known this for a long time. They are media darlings. They are absolutely loved and adored, seldom criticized, no matter what goes on. And there hasn't been a lot to criticize them on, in terms of the league in the last 4 or 5 years because they've won it. And what we're now seeing is excuses and panic setting in from Pep Guardiola. There is no doubt about it. He is scared of Manchester United this Saturday. The form that we are in, the progression of the team, and where he finds himself. Now, I want like button smashed, and I want you subscribing to the Football Terrace. And there is something I want to show that is quite significant, and it is very, very significant. Here you can see the league table in the Premier League since Manchester United's opening 2 defeats. Now, I've shared this already on Twitter, and I've already read some of the responses. This is a makeshift league. This league doesn't mean anything. It's pointless. What is it really telling us, Terry? Blah, blah. How can you remove 2 games from the context of the season? Well, nobody is. When you play individual games, history plays a part, no doubt. It certainly does, especially psychologically for teams. How good we are compared to you plays a part. City are the best team in England. Man United haven't been for a long time. But your current form and trajectory is also a massive barometer. So to ignore Man United's trajectory, to ignore and discard the form is fugazi, is bullshit, it's nonsense. You can't do it. That isn't how predicting and previewing a game works. It can't do. Man United have been the second best team in the league since hugely significant changes Ten Hag made after that humbling and embarrassing defeat to Brentford. Are Man United playing the exact style that Ten Hag wants? Probably not. Probably not near to it yet. And I remember listening to people that were talking about the I think they call it the JDP coaching. I don't actually know what that stands for because I'm not a tactico, but it takes about 2 to 2.5 years to fully implement a Ten Hag style system. So there's no way 17 games in Man United are there. But after that Brentford game, the team were lambasted and destroyed by the manager for their lack of effort, the lack of work rate, and individuals that just weren't up to task. Certain players dropped, like Maguire, who've very rarely been seen again since. In fact, the left back plays at centre back now ahead of him. Ronaldo was out the team for a while, came back, very quickly moved on because he was given another opportunity and couldn't quite cut it. And the remaining players, the Rashfords of this world, the Brunos of this world, were essentially told, buck up your ideas and improve, otherwise you are gone as well. And Man United are nowhere near the finished article. I'm not claiming them to be. But the improvement in us should not be ignored by anybody with genuine football knowledge. Now, you, the football terrace, you've got a football brain. You get it. My community, you're going to understand exactly where I'm coming from. There's no doubt. And as we can see, Pep Guardiola is worried going into this game. If we look at the form's really interesting. This is City away from home this year. When they've played Liverpool, when they played Newcastle, those two tough teams, they have dropped points. They did beat Chelsea, but again, we just spoke a moment ago about form. If you look at Chelsea's form this season, they've been awful for the vast majority. If you look in the last 10 games, Chelsea have been one of the worst performing teams in the league. But so far this season, when they've come up against a decent to very good team away from home, City haven't won. Manchester United have beat Liverpool, beat Arsenal, beat Tottenham, and drew with Newcastle. United's record at home this campaign under Ten Hag, since those significant changes to the mentality, formation, style, and of course, lineup, have been very, very good indeed. And it should give Man United fans an air of confidence going into this game. But you have to fear City as well. You have to be respectful of that elite attack, Haaland's goal-scoring prowess, and not to ignore the wonderful creativity of KDB. Do you have to worry about Luke Chadwick on the left? No, you don't have to worry about Luke Chadwick. If he turns up and has a good performance, play the lottery. You got more chance of winning the Euro Millions this Friday than you do Luke Chadwick turning up and performing on that left-hand side for Manchester City. Even with his socks down low, I don't think Luke Chadwick is going to do very much. Rodri in midfield, the battle between him and Bruno Fernandes is going to be amazing. Casemiro versus KDB is going to be amazing. Those two head-to-heads are going to be colossal. And can Man United keep Haaland quiet this time? Typically in the opening 15 minutes, 20 minutes of games, City are pretty quiet, barring when they battered Manchester United. They destroyed Manchester United, and I believe, I'm going back to look now, they scored in the 8th minute, and then United kind of held on for a while, and then it was an onslaught from 34 minutes onwards. United have got to be able to keep him quiet. Varane, Lissandro back in the team are going to be absolutely imperative. Luke Shaw at centre-back, nice experiment, okay against the bottom teams, but please do not do it, Ten Hag, against the might of Manchester City. And will Weghorst be available? Will that be? I think Martial will start as a number 9, but someone like Weghorst later on in the game gives United a plan B and a different option stylistically if we need a goal. And then there's Marcus Rashford to focus on. The most informed winger in the top leagues in Europe at the moment. There's no one in the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, or the Premier League performing better than Marcus Rashford right now. He's currently sitting second in the overall performance tables for the wingers in the top 4 leagues across Europe this season on 21 goal contributions, and he's in the form of his life. 8 home games on the bounce he's already scored in. And look, you can't bet against him doing it again. You can't bet against him doing it again because he's been absolutely brilliant. He really, really has. But as ever, when it comes to these games, the style is going to be important. How tactically you set up will be key. But we sort of know the way Man City are going to set up, really and truly. But I think we've already kind of worked that out. They will sit there in a 4-3-3. Man United will be a 4-2-3-1. Unless a Pep Galaxy brains it like he tried to do away against Chelsea last week. But I'd be disappointed if Man United didn't get a result from this game. At the very least, a draw and a good performance. Because City have been gettable all season. You can look at the way they smashed us 6-3. That was a naive and still a fearful performance from this Man United team, who, yes, had started to win games after the opening defeats, but hadn't really built up confidence like we have now. I expect a result in this game. I expect Man United to perform because there has been progression, and this is a gateway moment and a moment where United can rubber stamp the improvements that they've made. Because I kind of get online, you're already seeing Arsenal rivalries reemerge. Rivals getting annoyed. Oh, you're showing stats that are irrelevant. Your progression means nothing if you don't make top four. And there's elements of that I agree with around if this improvement fades away, it's been partly a false storm, or at the very least a premature showing of where we may end up. But Manchester United have got a brilliant chance this weekend. And I do believe Pep Guardiola is scared. I do believe that fear is leading to great pressure, which he and his team are struggling to cope with because they haven't been the same side this season. Haaland's been this great goal scorer. KDB has been brilliant. But outside of that, the cohesive nature of this team is slightly off. And I expect and want my club, Manchester United, to go out there Saturday and try to punish them. Don't be careless, but don't be too careful either. Show them respect, but don't just let them beat up on you. Get that balance right, and Man United can walk away with the 3 points. They truly can. That isn't to say City can't win. If anybody says, Terry said City definitely wouldn't win, that isn't what I'm suggesting at all. But I am going to predict a Man United win. 2-1, Rashford winner, United to maybe put themselves into talk of title contention with a win against City this weekend as well. Look, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on everything that I've said. Is the pressure of Arsenal being the best team in the league making Pep Guardiola starting to crack? Is that fear of United coming from in their slipstream and maybe overtaking them in the coming weeks? Are they starting to crumble a little bit? Does Pep Guardiola know that his team are just not quite where they need to be to win the title? Or are you going to see City turn up and go, actually, listen, we're the best team in England. We're going to show you in the derby. Shut up all of our critics. Shut up Terry Flewers down there in his studio. And Luke Chadwick might even turn up as well. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Smash the like and the share button. Leave your comments below. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.